Hey, um, this isn't a full film review, but I want to discuss a specific, excuse me, a little bit out of breath here. I've just had a drink and ran upstairs. Anyway, it's a specific scene I want to discuss, but I should give a bit of background to the film if you haven't seen it, so you know the context. Gran Torino stars Clint Eastwood, and it's a film about an elderly war veteran who is quite bitter, not a particularly pleasant character, and he's quite holds quite racist views towards his Hmong neighbours, the Hmong ethnic group. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Set somewhere in California, but doesn't really specify where. The title Gran Torino comes from his car, it's kind of his prized possession. Anyway, gradually over time he befriends his family despite his initial bigotry, and that's the kind of backdrop. But the son in the family is gradually being sucked into the local gang culture. Um, and so on. So it's this kind of moral story. It's a good film, although there are some scenes that are quite hard to watch. Um, there's a lot of reference to gang culture in there. Anyway, this one specific scene, it shows a young guy, young white guy, bringing the Hmong girl, kind of walking along with her. Obviously, they're on a date or something, and then they're confronted by this gang, black gang. Um, I don't want to focus so much on the racial aspect, but it is a big part of the film. That's why I'm mentioning it because it is an aspect of the film. But anyway, in the scene, this gang start like they confront the couple and they kind of like threatening them and stuff. The guy, the white guy, kind of goes, "Oh, bro, we're cool" and stuff. Like he's trying to defuse tension. He thinks if he sucks up to them, it'll sort of get them to back off or something. But it doesn't really work, and they start messing around with the girl, molesting her and stuff, and all the rest of it. Then Clint Eastwood turns up, of course, forget what the character's name is, and well, he puts him into place. Kind of rescues the girl and calls the guy a pussy. Now, I want to discuss this situation a little bit, this scene, because I think it raises a lot of moral questions and also just general questions that I think are very apt to men in particular. Firstly, a lot of people, both on the comment section and clearly the notion in the film is that the guy who's initially with her is a coward because he doesn't defend his girl. Now, I take a little bit of an issue with that, and it's one part of the film I didn't particularly like, and this is why. Um, I get that the depiction of him kind of groveling to them wasn't doesn't exactly cast out a good light. It's not, it's not the best way to deal with it. But my contention is this: it's one guy versus three guys. So let's say he had taken a more aggressive approach and like, leave us alone, back off, this sort of thing. Let's say he got into a fight, very strong chance he would have lost. And then they would have, attacked the girl anyway. So, um, my own reflections on this is that he responded the wrong way, but the fact is either way, I don't think would have resulted in the sort of outcome that would have put her in a safer position anyway, necessarily. Um, And it makes me wonder if I'm ever in a situation, how would I act if I have to deal with a gang? Now, I would like to think that I would take a different approach, and fight like a tiger to protect her, even if it meant me being beaten. But what people should be focusing on in that scene is not so much the actions of the initial guy who was outnumbered, but the actions of the scumbag gang. In my opinion, all gangs are that work in numbers against an individual are the lowest of the lowest low. It's an absolute chicken shit thing to do, to attack someone because you have the strength of numbers. One on one, like, that's different. It's still not justified attacking someone, but at least if it's one on one, it's balanced. With gangs, the thing is, this scene isn't that far fetched because similar things do happen in the real world. There was a video from Chicago not long ago that was surfacing around that showed a gang of about 7 guys beating one guy up. Um, it sickens me to the core. I really think that those sort of crimes absolutely need to be an absolutely harsh approach. They need to be taken away in shackles, put in solitary confinement, really, really throw it at them. Because I think that sort of crime is the absolute, to me, it's as bad as pedophilia and terrorism. It's just a chicken shit, low life, scumbag thing to do to attack someone who's on their own when you're in a group. It's absolutely disgusting. And it isn't just guys, there's some girl gangs who do this as well to other girls, so they're scum as well. Um, so yeah, just it's an interesting scene. I'll put a link to it in this. It's not a pleasant scene to watch. Although it's good when obviously Clint Eastwood puts him in place, but a little bit of artistic license there, But yeah, it is a thought-provoking scene. And again, I don't want to focus on the racial issue, but it's just an aspect of the film. So um, there you have it. As for the film itself, well, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to make a spoiler here, so stop listening now. But basically, as for the film, I can't really make my mind up if I think it's a good film or not. Well, it's good in the power of what it does, but you can't really take anything away from it positive because in the end, the old man dies. Now, presumably the gang gets arrested, but there's not really a sense of satisfaction. Like these low lives aren't getting their comeuppance kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, the truth is, when you watch cinema, you do want those human um, sentiments, including revenge. When you see someone doing something despicable, you want them to face some sort of karma. Anyway, that's Gran Torino. It's a scene that I find quite uncomfortable. I've been in situations where I haven't been beaten up by a gang exactly, but I have been confronted by a gang, and I think they're the absolute scum of the earth. Um, I'm a bit more sympathetic to people who are sucked into gangs through extortion because they've got no other choice. But young men all over the world and some young women need to absolutely be warned about the dangers of getting into gang culture. Because what these people do is they suck you in like parasites, and then they take all character that you may have and just turn you into an absolute scumbag. In many parts of the world, and I apologize here for getting philosophical and for getting academic about it. There is poverty factors, that's true. For example, in Honduras, which is one of the most violent countries in the world, Costa Coffee, to their credit, has set up a scheme whereby young would-be gang members get involved in the coffee industry away, and it helps them get away from gang life. It's a very good initiative, and I absolutely commend Costa Coffee for that. I do support initiatives to get young people away from gangs. However, I think when crimes do occur, people need to face the consequences. No ifs, buts, or maybes. And I think that like a gang attacking an individual is one of the absolute scummiest things that you can do. Personally, I'd like to think that I would. I mean, I've only one real example to go on to know myself. When I was at university, I was with some friends and we were walking back. Now, a gang did confront us and they asked us for money and they were very, in the face and stuff. I remember I did say something, so I did respond differently. I was quite confrontational. And I said to my friend, give us your money. And I said, no, he doesn't have to. And stuff like that. I did sort of stand up to them. But that's not me trying to be bravado because it was an instinctive thing. It wasn't something that I kind of thought, I have to do this right now. It just came out before I even knew it. Um, Now, what actually happened was they attacked us, and I didn't get a dislocated jaw, but had bad bruising. We had to go to the police station and all the rest of it. But um, one reason why I've been involved in boxing and that sort of thing is because the reality in this world is you get scumbags out there who just want to start trouble for nothing. You have to be prepared in this world. You have to be prepared, and especially if you're a man, you can't afford, for example, to be in a situation where, say, you have a girlfriend where you can't protect her. So that's why you do have to be vigilant, and that's why I do highly value preparation. It's not about having a siege mentality and going around sort of all aggro and wanting to fight. It's not about that. That's about somehow being prepared when the time does come, and it's difficult because it is so often spontaneous. Like you can't sort of predict at 3:50 the gang is going to be there and blah blah blah. If there is a preparation, if I was in a situation I knew, for example, that gang met at a certain time, that I'd much prefer that situation rather than a spontaneous situation because then okay, you have the sort of anxiety leading up to it, but at least you have the preparation time. Now in situations where I've had problems, it's always come completely randomly, and you don't really have time to focus. And there's times I have, you know, not really been able to discipline myself in the way I would have liked. This is one of my sort of resolutions to myself is that I'm not going to let anyone walk over me. And you know, I just think gangs are the scum of the earth. So I'm going to end up repeating myself. But anyway, watch the scene. Let me know your thoughts. I think it's an interesting scene. It's not a particularly easy scene to watch if you have any had any real world experience of crime because it's pretty realistic. And yeah, it's just it's interesting. Let me know your thoughts.